All right, we'll get started. Again, thank you for joining. We do want to make good use of this time. And you know, one thing, and I'm excited of the direction that or the progress we made this past week. You know, one thing when a company is going in the right direction, it's not just information you share, but I truly believe also excitement. And in the last 2 weeks, we made substantial progress. You'll hear a little bit about it to date, but on the commercial front, we've made good progress on that side. We still have still have some work to do, but as a sales agent, this does open up quite an opportunity that most solar sales agents don't even have. They're pretty much excluded from commercial, and that's huge. Now, Solar Energy Plus is divided into pretty much two different divisions. So we have the residential, and we have the commercial side. So things are a little bit different. So a lot of what we share in these settings are mostly directed towards the residential side, but we do have some opportunity also on the commercial side. So I'm excited about that. We've also made huge progress on our pricing, the pricing that we get from the installers. To my knowledge, it's better than what most anybody gets. So, and that makes a huge difference when you're competing against somebody. When you have, when you have better pricing than the competitor, and you still have, the same or even better equipment, that's huge. So it sets you up. It gives you a distinction that allows you to compete almost in an unlevel playing field. It's like racing against somebody to run a mile, but you only have to run 3 laps, and somebody has to run 4 laps. You're set up with a great advantage, and I think what we have set up does do that, and we'll hear a little bit about that. I think my wife Isabel is going to be talking about the red lines, which makes a huge difference of the price your clients get. So we'll be talking about that. I believe we'll be talking about that today. So we are excited about that. Just as how many have been able to see some of the training material that's available online? Hopefully that's been helpful. And if you have any recommendations of topics that you would like to get some trainings, what we're trying to put online is stuff that just the basics that allows you to communicate with your clients to be informed. So we do have a total of, I believe, 10 different videos. With the exception of 2 of the videos, most of the videos are anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes. We do have one video that's 26 minutes, another one that's an hour, but most of it are short videos. You can learn about net metering, you can learn about inverters, you can learn about batteries, you can learn about how to use our some of the different tools that we've created. So have those been helpful? Has anybody been able to use those? Anybody online? Anybody there? Okay. Can y'all hear me online? Okay, I see that thumbs up. So
yeah, so again I believe there's some good information, especially for those who are brand new to the industry. It gives you enough information to be informed with your clients, and so again, we've had a lot going on that front. Also, there will be stuff that's posted there on a regular basis. So I think this week we put in a couple of videos. Last week I think we put in like 6 videos. Next week we'll probably have a couple of more videos. And so again, we're trying to provide just some information that really helps everybody. One thing that I mentioned, and I think it's a big part of just not, it's part of our who we are as a company, both internally and also what we present to our customers, is we truly add value. I mentioned that when we met about 3 weeks ago, and there's a lot of value that we have, and part of it is just part of what we get to offer our clients, okay? When you're helping clients save money, there's automatic value. But the thing about it is that's the same value that another solar company offers their clients, right? You help your clients save money. So there's got to be more than just that. And those are the distinctions. And those are the distinctions that I believe sets us apart and also allows our sales reps that when you're competing for business, that you can have a level of confidence that sets you apart. And what I mean by that is
built into Solar Energy Plus, and I believe this is huge, okay? This is what sets us apart from the other sales agents, okay? Is our pricing without offering an inferior product. You know, if we're lowering our pricing, but then we're offering inferior products, are we truly adding value? The answer is no. So a few years ago, you would see online solar companies that were advertising Go Solar for $79 a month. I think most people saw those kinds of advertisement, and pretty much what was being offered was, you know, 6 panels on the homes, whether that was sufficient or wasn't sufficient. Okay, that really is not a whole lot of value. Okay, so what we want to do is we do want to offer great competitive pricing, extremely great competitive pricing, and also offer the system that's equivalent to or even better than our competitors. So how are we able to do that? Okay, and here's a big difference of Solar Energy Plus that sets us at a point where you as a sales agent can have a certain level of confidence. Okay, now I touched on this briefly the other day. When you're in sales, there's of course the idea is to make some profit, right? That's the idea. And what happens is a lot of times the profit is already taken from the very beginning. So the company, you name the solar company, and they built into it, okay, we want to make $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 profit for the company. Okay, so you start off as a sales agent having to compensate the cost for the equipment, having to compensate the cost for the installers, having to compensate the profit for the company, and then you tag on your commission on top of all that, right? So there's some things we can't get away from. Okay, the installers, they charge for their business, rightfully so. Okay, but here's a piece of the puzzle that is huge. Okay, and I don't think there's another company that uses this business model. Okay, and when you sell a solar company, a solar system, you are paying the installers, you are paying for the equipment, but the total profit that the company gets, Solar Energy Plus, okay, what you pay or what your clients pay is $500. Okay, there's not another company that does that. Most of them, they're going to take 30%, 20%, 40% of the commission. Okay, so right away you're starting with $4, $5, $6, $7, even $10,000 less fees, less cost that you don't have to pass on to the customer. Does that make sense? My dad used to use an analogy before, and if you ever go to Mexico, they have the people that make tacos on the side of the road. Have you ever seen that, Lucy? Okay, and what they do is they have the carne asada. They have it set up very good, and the people making the tacos, they get a big handful of the carne asada, whatever it is, the meat, and then it looks like, man, they're going to fill up your taco. And what they do is they drag it, across the cutting board, and by the time it makes it to the taco, there's only 2 or 3 little pieces of meat. Okay. And that's what happens a lot in business. It happens a lot in businesses. By the time it gets to us as a salespeople, there's already all this built-in cost. Does that make sense? Okay. And the reason I mention that, because that is part of our culture. There's only two ways for a company to be profitable. Okay. One is to be in charges and in cost. So you could have charge for this and charge for this, and you know, you can build into the product a lot of fees. Okay, so that's one way to be profitable. That is in cost or charge. The other way to be profitable is volume. Okay, where you're not trying to make a killing on one transaction. Okay, where you're trying to, you know, support the business, and your goal is to compete in price and cost, and your goal is to do a lot of business. Okay, and that is the business model of Solar Energy Plus. And the reason I mentioned that is because it translates in the direct quote that you're able to give your clients. That's huge. That is huge. My wife, she had a quote yesterday, and I want to, she might talk about it, but you know, it's like, you know, usually you're competing against somebody and it's like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it. But when you start off at a better position, it's like, wow, this is too easy to take this deal from somebody else. And I believe she's going to share an example. It's just, so I think that's a very important explanation that helps you know why is our cost different. There's more to that. Part of what Isabel does, and even what I do, is, you know, I was looking for different commercial contacts. Okay, part of what Isabel does is negotiate better pricing. And again, I don't want to steal her thunder, but our pricing that our installer has given us is just way better. I can't even get it out of my mouth because I'm so excited. It's way better than anywhere else we've heard of. Okay, so so that makes room for you to get paid well and still compete, still be better than competitors. Okay, I think that's pretty huge right there. Right?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
If he finds a better service, when once they're installed, they'll share one of your videos on the way over here. And something you spoke about, the string
Inverter, yeah. Right.
So, like, if our clients or customers have an issue, is there a 1-800 number they can call, or do they call us?
So, good. There's, and in fact, that's a very good question. In fact, that would be a good one for me to do a video on. There's what's called manufactured warranties, which those, I mean, they can be a little challenging because you're calling the manufacturer. Okay. And then there's, what is it left? What is there's the system warranties. Okay. Where, which we offer those, we sell those, where they're not calling the manufacturer. There's actually what's that? They would call us back, but we have system. The client actually gets not just manufacturer warranties, but they also get system warranties. So, and that would be a good one to discuss in a training. So we'll do a training video on that. We'll get some more details on that. Good, very, very good question.
No, because you know, in the middle of something and you think stuff like I start to call my other job. And it's like the lender wasn't doing her job on one. And the title company wasn't doing another, because all they did is they send my client an email, and I was stuck with that call.
Oh, you're talking about like the home warranties kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's still, I got the call.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with manufacturer warranties, even when we get involved, we're still dealing with the manufacturer. Okay, so I think it's a huge difference when you have system warranties. There is a cost associated with that, but when you're dealing with a solar system, it makes a lot of financial sense. And we'll talk about that in details, because that's a system warranty where you can have the installer come back out and work on it, okay? Instead of calling the manufacturers like this system went out, and then you have to do a lot more stuff. So that's very, very good. The other thing is, let me see, how do I do this? Where's okay. So you'll be seeing some marketing pieces. We're barely drafting them, but like for commercial stuff, and even for residential. Okay. I know a lot of the marketing has moved away from paper. I mean, a lot of it is done digitally, or it's done through social media. So if you see something online that you're like, wow, this is a very good marketing piece for solar, then, you know, send it to me, send it to Isabel, and we can make something similar for Solar Energy Plus. Okay, and we try to do everything. This is just an example. We try to do everything where it's going to be personalized with your contact information. Again, as sales agents, we know the importance of promoting the individual. I mean, you want to be the main point of contact. So if you see something online that you just like the marketing piece and you want Solar Energy Plus to create something similar, then we can do that. Okay. So the other thing is, everybody should have their digital business cards. So if you don't have your digital business cards, please send the information needed, which is a picture of your profile, your business profile picture, your email address, and the main phone contact information. And if you want any special verbiage, or such as or whatever language it might be, then we can make it. What we don't want to happen is, let's just say all of a sudden you have an appointment tomorrow, and then you want a lot of stuff made before then. That's going to be very difficult. So if you already have the stuff already personalized in your name, then you'll just be ready to. You'll have all the tools that you need. Any questions on that? Anybody online that has a question on that? Okay.
It's about a lot of promotion on business credit.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. You go ahead and send whatever. When you see an information like that, go ahead and send it. A lot of these are, for example, I received a call a couple of days ago where they were so adamant that supposedly there was a Biden initiative where they were giving people $25,000. Okay, and they were so convinced we want these $25,000. It's a Biden initiative. So what it is, a lot of it is pretty much clickbait, and what they want to do is, here's something that's in legislation right now. The Senate is talking about this, but you have to read through a couple of pages of their website before you find out it's like, this is something that hasn't passed yet. If you would like other options, please call one of our reps. So it's a lot of some of it is more clickbait than actually available. But if it is, then going forward, then we can try to see if we can join in with that. The other thing, and then I'm going to pass this over to Isabel right after this. One thing I think our goal is for all of us to do well in our business, right? And I think the caliber of people that are part of, are interested or part of the team are top tier. I think so. I'm excited about that. We do share a reputation when we share a name such as a Solar Energy Plus or whatever it is, and this is something that I think is very important. Because one thing that we hear being in solar, and you probably heard it yourself, where somebody's complaining of what they bought from somebody else. Okay, everybody knows, has an uncle, a family member, that what they got on their roof is not what they were getting, right? And it happens so much, and companies can get reputations like that. I think, as I said this before, when we're in sales, there's no such thing as gray areas. They don't exist. There's right and there's wrong. Okay, as soon as you start inventing gray areas, then that's a slippery slope. So we definitely want to be informed of our products, and we want to clearly explain them to a client. I heard somebody say that the moment you feel the need to massage a message, you've already made a mistake. If you cannot clearly communicate, here's what you have, then because sometimes we make a mistake. We might have said something and find out it's different. Well, we gotta call them back. It's like, you know what? Here's what it is, and because especially in sales, we definitely want our clients to refer people back to us, right? So there's no gray areas, and the other thing is, I believe when you do business, you got to operate in roles, personal roles, and having done business 22 years and still going on is, you got to take care of yourself. I mean, why do we do what we do? So that we can support our families, right? So you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take care of the client, okay? By protecting it. What is their motivation for going solar? We got to know those stuff, and we don't conceal stuff, but it's like we take care of the client, we take care of ourselves, and we take care of the client, and then we also take care of the company. Okay, and what I mean by that is the error some people can do is when they put one entity above another entity. They will put their personal well-being over the clients and the companies, and they'll say whatever they have to say to make that sale. Okay, and that just leads to a bad experience. Or they'll put the client's needs over their sales of the company, and what happens is then they're not happy in what they do because they don't feel that their time is being paid, because they're just trying to please the client. And what happens is we are positioned to compete, in my mind, probably better than most solar companies out there. And when we're offering the products and at a good pricing, then we're really at a point where we actually race to the bottom. Okay, and what I mean by that is you know, you offer the best that you can do, and sometimes the expectation might just be unreasonable from the client. Okay, what I mean by that, so we take care of the client, but without hurting your own, you know, if you feel like you're putting 40 hours into this and it's going to be like it's not worth your time, then it's really just walk away from that. Does that make sense? So so take care of the client, take care of yourself, take care of the company. Don't put any entity above another, because the minute you start putting one entity above another, there's going to be an unbalance, and one is going to be harmed and another one's going to be doing well. So anyway, so those are just basic general ideas of because we are set up for success, and I'm excited. You'll be hearing more of the stuff. You'll be hearing more of the stuff, but we truly have an opportunity to add substantial value to our clients. All right, I'll pass it on to Isabel.